Good evening, you're watching The Buck Stops here and I'm Barkha Dutt. On the program this evening, something that has ruptured wide open, in fact, an already tenuous peace between India and Pakistan. It's what the Indian Army is calling a grave provocation along the line of control in the Mendhar sector of Jammu and Kashmir. The Indian Army says 2 soldiers have been killed in a ceasefire violation. Not just any ceasefire violation, because ceasefire violations in themselves are not unusual occurrences, but one in which one body of a soldier has been mutilated and decapitated. Even more disturbing, the second body, the Indian Army says, may have been mutilated as well. Sources are now confirming to NDTV that the head of one body is missing. The Army is examining whether it was firearms or whether it was other weapons that led to the mutilation and the decapitation. And the Indian government, in a cautious but strong statement, is calling this a grave provocation from the Pakistan Army. Pakistan, of course, has rubbished all of these assertions as mere propaganda. But gruesome details, disturbing details are emerging of what has taken place along the line of control. Like we're saying, a ceasefire in itself is not something that never happens. In fact, according to the Indian Army's own figures, 10 ceasefire violations took place in the last 1 month alone. There have been 6 major ceasefire violations and more than 50 minor ones. But ceasefire violations normally manifest themselves in the exchange of fire, small arms fire or artillery fire. This time, however, 2 very, very serious charges have been made by the Indian Army. One, as we said, of the mutilation of the body of an Indian soldier and the decapitation of that body with the head missing. And the other is the charge that Pakistani troops actually entered Indian territory. In other words, it was not just a ceasefire violation, but a violation of the line of control. What does this mean for a tenuous dialogue process? How should India respond? What are India's options, realistically speaking? Before we introduce our panel this evening, let's go across to my colleagues, Nitin Gokhale here in Delhi and Zafar Iqbal in Jammu. Zafar, let me come to you first. Like many journalists, we had this news trickle in of the fact that the head of one of the bodies is missing, that the body had been found decapitated. We held back on this news for several hours, and it's only after confirming it from multiple sources at the highest level in the Indian Army that we're bringing this very disturbing account of brutality. Of brutality, really, because mutilation goes against the Geneva Convention. It goes even against the rules of war. We're putting this in the public domain. What are your army sources there saying? Because we have seen, of course, a skirmish that took place along the line of control in Uri a day ago. At that time, it was Pakistan that accused India of violating the ceasefire, something that India denied. What are you hearing there, Zafar?
Well, at the moment, I can tell you, Barkha, that there has been firing has resumed in the Krishna Ghati sector. We're told that firing is going on about 5 to 8 posts on the line of control. There's exchange of fire between India and Pakistan. Clearly, this incident has raised the tempers there. There's a lot of provocation and the situation is very tense there. But as you rightly put it, we got this information right at the outset that the bodies have been mutilated, but we held back the information. We wanted a confirmation from the army, and only after the confirmation we put across the news. What is more worrying is that this incident has happened at a place where line of control, where the border fence is not the physical barrier between India and Pakistan. The fence is much into the Indian territory. It was erected at a time of height of Indo-Pak hostilities when there was no ceasefire. That's precisely the reason that the fence is many hundred meters inside the Indian territory. So they had selected their target. That's what our sources say, very meticulously. A small group of army personnel who were moving from one bunker to another bunker were specifically targeted by these Jawans who had laid an ambush that crossed the line of control and attacked them 2 Jawans were killed in that process and 2 others were injured who have been shifted to the command hospital. And then after that, they had the time to mutilate the body and go back into the Pakistani territory. That's what makes the matter very serious. But this escalation has been there for the last few days. You remember what happened in Uri. There was this massive ceasefire violation. We got the photos of that village where we saw that houses had been damaged by Pakistani shelling. That was a clear proof from the side of India that Pakistan had resorted to heavy shelling, while Pakistan said that it was the Indian army which crossed into their territory and killed 1 soldier. But Uri is in Kashmir Valley and Mender is in the Jammu province. So clearly you can imagine the escalation and the tension all along the line of control, 700 kilometers of line of control. So clearly what we are told right now that there's still firing going on in the Krishna Ghati sector.
Thanks, Zafar, for that update. So Zafar Iqbal from Jammu and Kashmir saying that fresh firing has erupted along the line of control. We should explain to our viewers that firing in itself is not what makes this such a grave situation. It is the fact that the Indian Army has said that the 2 soldiers killed, their bodies have been found, one specifically in a mutilated and decapitated condition, and the second, according to Army sources, also could have signs of mutilation. Nitin Gokhale, my colleague, now joining us for more. Nitin, Army sources saying that they're still trying to examine whether it is firearms or some other kind of weapons that led to the decapitation. We also now know, and this is actually pretty horrible to put in the public domain, but we must, and we're doing it after checking with literally dozens of sources, the fact that the head of one of the bodies is missing. Now this is coming against the backdrop of a very emotional campaign, for example, that we've seen by Captain Saurabh Kalia's father, the 1999 shadow of torture and mutilation, still casting a shadow over the equation between our 2 countries. Pakistan denying the allegations of brutality as propaganda. That's the word used by a Pakistani official to the media there. What are Army sources saying, Nitin? Because these bodies will now have to be brought back to the unit and then taken on to their families at some point. The truth in all its horrific detail will be uncovered.
Well, certainly, Barka, it's a very uncomfortable situation for everyone, including the army, the families, and the decision makers. Excuse me. At the moment, what we are hearing is that the bodies may not come back so soon. The one body which is there will have to be taken for postmortem to Udhampur, perhaps. The other body will have to wait where it is, or maybe wait in Udhampur. The army also has said that it will respond appropriately at an appropriate time. I can tell you this, that the Northern Army Commander, Lieutenant General K.T. Parnaik, who incidentally is the Colonel Commandant of the Rajputana Rifles, Rajrif as it is called in the Indian Army, and this is the unit which is posted in that sector, which has suffered these casualties. He spent the whole day today along that post, trying to calm tempers, instilling confidence in the troops there, the commanders there, and saying that we will not respond in anger. We will wait, we will respond appropriately, and this is not the time for anger or revenge at this moment. That is one part. The second part is that the Indian Army says that this was not only unprovoked, but for the past 1 month, there has been an escalation and intensified ceasefire violations. 10 of them, as we have mentioned time and again, 4 or 5 infiltration bids which were foiled on the line of control, and also 14 militants were killed by the Indian Army in both Kashmir and Jammu sectors, Kashmir Valley and the Jammu sectors. So therefore, this has been leading to this, and of course Sunday's incident is proved to be a trigger. Also, Indian Army sources telling us that this wasn't a one-off, it wasn't on instinct or instantaneously done operation. This must have been planned meticulously. They must have kept watch, and therefore it remains to be seen that who gave these orders on the Pakistani side to carry out this so-called retaliatory attack, as Pakistan has termed it. Right. And therefore we'll have to wait and watch how the Indian Army and the Indian government at large responds to this escalating situation. Barka?
Right, Nitin, thanks very much. We're waiting, in fact, for the Foreign Ministry to react officially. We have seen a statement from the Ministry of Defence calling this a significant escalation. The Indian Army has called it a grave provocation. But the question remains, what should and what can India do now? How do you look upon this incident where the army is saying that not just have 2 soldiers been killed, but that one body has been found in a mutilated and decapitated condition, and one head on one body is missing. The second may have been mutilated as well. What should India do? Till last week, India and Pakistan were playing cricket. What do they do now? Let's introduce our panel this evening. Joining us now, Manishankar Iyer, Member of Parliament, and he's, of course, in a previous avatar, also served as a diplomat to Pakistan. Also joining us tonight, Lieutenant General Jaswal. He's, of course, been one of the top-ranking army officials who has served in that area of Jammu and Kashmir. With us in the studio, Ajay Shukla, defense analyst, has previously served as a colonel in the Indian Army. Also with us in the studio, Colonel V.K. Thapar, knows a little bit about what personal loss means, lost his son in the Kargil war. Joining us on the panel tonight, General Shankar Prasad. He's been the ex-Director General of the Infantry with the Indian Army. Former Foreign Secretary Kanwal Sibal also joins us. And from Lahore tonight, Kamran Shafi, joining us for a perspective from Pakistan at a time when Pakistani military officials are basically denying everything that India has said today about the brutality and the brutal attack and the mutilation of our soldiers as propaganda. If I can start with you, General Jaswal, what does the Indian Army and what does India do next? Because the details of the circumstances in which this mutilation has taken place are still being uncovered. For obvious reasons, the army has not shared or put all the details in the public domain. You already have Pakistan saying that the charge of brutality is mere propaganda. That's their phrase. You have these bodies that have to go home to a family tomorrow. There is a decapitated body. There is the head of a body missing. What does the army do? What does the country do? How should we react?
Firstly, I would like to mention that as far as the army is concerned, the option for retaliation in terms of cross-border or nullifying the efforts of a post which is trying to push through such like people who come across the soldiers along with the terrorists and carry out such dastardly act. But for a major retaliation which is to take place, because we are approaching our red lines, we function under the ambit of the government. Should the government decide, we can raise the bar to any level. But I think as a mature and responsible nation, we still have our thresholds in place. And I think what the government should do is take up the issues at the diplomatic level. And at the army level, we have our own standard operating procedures. We try and have flag meetings at the lower level, starting from the brigade commander upwards. But it should be a message to Pakistan, enough is enough, and you cannot cross the LOC, or rather the line of control. This is an act of aggression. And on top of that, you come and mutilate a body. Enough is enough. When you got the mutilated body of Captain Saurabh Kalia, this message has to be given loud and clear. And I would like to repeat that Indian Army is capable of responding in any manner, and that would be very befitting. But we do not believe in mutilating bodies.
Yes.